she's drawn here in example 6. But we have this much more complicated looking function. We want to stay in the first quadrant. So we want to stay in the first quadrant. And the equation I'm looking at is x squared plus y squared equals 25 in the first quadrant. And I want z, so my snowfall, to be given by this equation. And the question is, what double integral would lead me to find the proper volume underneath this y equals, or the z equals y to the x curve in the first quadrant, blocked off by the semicircle, right, this quarter of a circle.
For your bounds, wouldn't you just like go out in each direction and see where you get from that semicircle?
That's exactly what we want to do. So the question we need to ask first is, do we want to slice with respect to x or with respect to y first? Sure. So we know it's going to be a double integral. You guys have decided to slice in terms of x first. Now, slicing in terms of x is sort of tricky, because you notice that whenever we slice in terms of x, I'm like, well, if I slice in terms of x, that means I'm going to run into a certain height y. It gets a little tricky, right? So what we generally do in this sort of setup is it's easy to step out first and say, okay, what's the last thing I'm going to do? And you guys have decided to do the x slicing first, followed by the y slicing. The y is definitely going to run then from 0 to 5. If y is running from 0 to 5, what is x going to run from?
0 to 5, d is running the domain actually for z or something like that.
So now the question is, so you guys have decided to fill it out this way.
Shouldn't we have to figure out what that curve is?
Exactly, we have to figure out what this curve is. So I'm going to give you a y, and you have to tell me what the x value is. Well, here's the relationship. So if you give me a y value, how can I find the corresponding x? Well, x is equal to, this gives me x squared is equal to 25 minus y squared. So x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 25 minus y squared. However, I'm in which quadrant?
Quadrant 1.
Quadrant 1. So which one of these am I interested in?
Plus.
Positive. So that means my bounds for x then will be going from 0 to the square root of 25 minus y squared. What's my snow function? Y e dx.
Yeah, maybe we should do one first.
You end up getting almost exactly the same thing.
Yeah, but then at least you won't have an excellent first.
Well, what's going to happen
Wouldn't
is,
you want it in that first? The one that has the square root?
so I think what you're thinking is that we would maybe be able to get it like this. Is that what you're thinking?
No.
Okay, just to make sure, right? Just so that we're all clear, you're never going to get this to happen. Because this would end with a y in your answer. So just at a very basic level, you know that if you ever write it like this, you know that you're heading for disaster. Because you can't see this swap happen. Okay. Let's see, that was 6. Makes me kind of sad. We're going to need to stop here.
Oh, we don't have to do it.
I'll let her know. She'll probably want to finish up packing with you guys. I want to make sure